Assalamu alaikum student. Dr. Naveed Shahad, your course instructor is here. Today this is our 20th lecture. This lecture is a continuity of our previous lecture. In this lecture we will discuss about remaining part of protoplast culture. In previous lecture we have discussed with the reference to protoplast about first of all about protoplast, then enzymes for preparation of protoplast, what is a plasmolysis, uses for protoplast, isolation of protoplast, basic techniques for isolation and culture of protoplast, then methods of isolation of protoplast, two methods, mechanical methods and chemical method. Then we discuss these two methods in detail. Enzymatic method further consists of two methods, one step method, two step method. Then we talked about advantages of enzymatic method. Today we will talk about the purification of isolated protoplast. How isolated protoplast can be purified. First is the sedimentation and washing of isolated protoplast. How we can do this? Crude protoplast suspension is centrifuged. At low speed, the intact protoplast form a pellet and supernatant containing cell debris can be pipetted out. The pellet is gently resuspended in fresh culture media having mannitol and rewashed this pellet. This process is repeated 2 or 3 times to get a relatively clear protoplast preparation. Other is the floating method or floating approach. In this approach, protoplast being lighter, or we say low density protoplast, than other cell debris, gradients may be used which will allow protoplast to float and the cell debris to sediment. A concentrated solution of mannitol, sorbitol and sucrose, which concentrated is 0.3 to 0.6 molar, can be used as a gradient, and crude protoplast suspension may be centrifuged in this gradient at an appropriate speed. Protoplast can be pipetted out from top of the tube after centrifugation. This method causes less loss or damage than sedimentation and washing method. Why this method create less loss? Because of the floating approach of protoplast. Protoplast float into the solution, so protoplast may be saved in this method. But in sedimentation, when we centrifuge to get sediments or pellets, in this case a mechanical stress is developed onto the protoplast due to which a protoplast may be damaged. Next is the culture of protoplast. Isolated protoblasts are their hybrid cells are cultured either in a liquid or agar medium. Liquid culture medium includes either incubating protoplast in a thin layer or as a small drop of nutrient medium inside a petri dish, which in turn is covered by another petri plate, and finally sealed with parafilm. Parafilm is you can say polythene with elasticity. This is a specific type of the material which is used to seal bottles or petri dishes. The culture dish is then maintained at 25 to 28 degrees centigrade. Here in liquid culture medium, agar will not be used. Other is the nutrient medium containing the agar. We say this is the solid nutrient medium. In this medium, about 2 ml aliquots of isolated protoplast are mixed with an equal volume of agar nutrient medium. 2 ml of isolated protoplast plus 2 ml of nutrient medium, then this is a 4 ml total volume. Then the temperature of which should not be exceed 45 degrees centigrade, because if temperature exceed 45, then it will be liquefied again, will be melt again, and protoplast will degraded due to high temperature. On solidification of agar, the culture plates are sealed and maintained in an inverted position at 25 to 28 degrees centigrade. Why we need to put these culture plates in inverted position? Because humidity of the medium will be the part of the lid of the petri dish or petri plate. If we will not invert, these drops will condense onto the media and create a contamination into the nutrient medium. Next is the fusion of protoplast. How we can fuse two or more than two types of the protoplast. Fusion of protoplast facilitate mixing of two whole genomes and could be exploited in crosses at interspecific, intergeneric, and even inter-kingdom levels. So this is the another benefit of protoplast. We can fuse two different type of the protoplast. Isolated protoplast are devoid of walls, makes them easy tool for understanding fusion in vitro. Mixing two genomes open the door to gene transfer and a study of the gene expression, stability of several traits, and cell genetic changes. Actually, this is the real use or application of the protoplast fusion. What are the methods used for protoplast fusion? There are two general methods used for the fusion of the protoplast. First is the spontaneous fusion, other induced fusion. Induced fusion has further three methods: mechanical means, chemical means, and electrical means. The chemical means have further three different chemical means or methods. First is the sodium nitrate treatment, NaNO3 treatment. Second, calcium ion treatments. Third is the polyethylene glycol treatment. We shortly say PEG treatment, PEG. First we talk about the spontaneous fusion. In this case, when the callus cultures or the cell grown in suspensions are subjected to enzymatic degradation of the cell wall, the plasmodesmata of adjoining cells expand instead of the breaking down. This facilitating spontaneous fusion of protoplast to form homokaryons. The cells which have homokaryons are called homokaryocytes. In this case, we say a single cell with same type of nuclei. These nuclei may be different in number. So such cells are called plurinucleate cells. These plurinucleate cells sometimes contain 20 to 40 nuclei. How this spontaneous fusion occur? During the enzymatic degradation, when we prepare a suspension of the cells and using specific type of the osmolyticum, the plasmodesmata did not break but become widen. Due to this, nucleus of two cells can exchange with each other or shift into the single cell due to the widen plasmodesmata and become part of the one cell. So in this way, one cell can get many nuclei from the different cells, which we say homokaryons, and cells are called homokaryocytes. This is spontaneous fusion. What is the limitation of spontaneous fusion? Spontaneous fusion products do not regenerate into whole plants except for undergoing a few divisions. Yes, because now cells are plurinucleate, have many nucleus in single cell. So how this can possible? A cell can grow properly with many nuclei. That's why initially start to generate but cannot proliferate further. How to overcome this issue? This can be overcome by the sequential method of protoplast isolation or exposure of the cells to a strong plasmolyticum would break the plasmodest metal connection. So here we need strong plasmolaticum solution which should rapidly break plasmodest metal connections and consequently reduce the frequency of spontaneous fusion. Spontaneous fusion is non-reproducible and very rare. Other is a induced fusion. How we can induce fusion of the protoplast? First is a mechanical mean. In a mechanical means, protoplast of two different species or the same species are passed through a micropipette, the tip of which is partially blocked. During this, protoplast come into contact, are retained and remain compressed by the flow of liquid, and meanwhile cells are fused and share their nuclei. In this procedure, protoplasts are likely to be injured because this is a mechanical mean. Mechanically a pressure is developed, that's why chance to be a injury of the cells. Other is the chemical means. As I have told you, three different chemicals used. First is the sodium nitrate treatment for the fusion of protoplast from root tips of oat and maize seedling. Sodium nitrate treatment used. What is the procedure? Isolated protoplast are suspended in an aggregation mixture and incubated at 35 degrees centigrade on water bath. The aggregation mixture is basically sodium nitrate 5.5% in 10% of sucrose solution. In order to obtain a higher frequency of fused protoplast, mixture may be centrifuged and the pellet resuspended and incubated for one or more additional cycle. So this step can be repeated. Other is the treatment with calcium ions at high pH. Spinning the protoplast in a fusion inducing solution for 30 minutes, after which the tubes are placed in a water bath at 37 degrees centigrade for 40 to 50 minutes. Here the solution is fusion inducing solution is 0.05 molar calcium chloride in 0.4 molar mannitol at pH of 10.5. This lead to the fusion of 20 to 50% of the protoplast. This treatment, calcium ion treatment, will help to fuse 20 to 50% of the protoplast. This method has been found superior to other methods in some cases, but high pH may be the toxic in other case. Third one chemical is polyethylene glycol, PEG. Since 1974, protoplast fusion has been successfully achieved in several crops using PEG as a fusogen. Technique gives high frequency of fusion with reproducible results and involves low cytotoxicity. This technique can be used for fusion of protoplast from unrelated plant taxa, for example, soybean, tobacco, and soybean barley. Soybean with tobacco and soybean with barley. From unrelated animal taxa and also between those from animal and plant cells. So PEG is very effective fusogen. How we can use this? Here's procedure. Uh, in this procedure, the agglutination of the protoplast during PEG treatment can be brought about by the following two different methods. First, when protoplasts are available in sufficient quantities. If protoplasts are available in sufficient quantity, then 1 ml of the culture medium with suspended protoplast is added to 1 ml of 56% solution of PEG and tube shaken for 5 seconds. The protoplasts are allowed to sediment for 10 minutes, washed with growth medium and examined for successful agglutination and fusion. If protoplasts are available in micro quantities, then drop culture can be used. Two types of protoplasts are mixed in equal quantities, and 4 to 6 microdrops are placed in a small petri plate and allowed to settle for 5 to 10 minutes at room temperature. 2 to 3 microdrops of PEG are added from the periphery or from the side in each petri plate, which is incubated for 30 minutes at room temperature. Room temperature should 24 degrees centigrade. Other method is electrical fusion. If protoplasts are placed in a small cell culture containing electrodes and a potential difference is applied, then the protoplast will line up between the electrodes. If now an extremely short electric shock is applied, protoplast can be induced to fuse. Student, this electrical fusion method will be discussed in detail because this is another method of plant transformation we will talk about in our coming lectures. Next is the testing protoplast viability. How we can check or test the viability of the protoplast? Is protoplast working or not? Protoplast viability could be tested in the beginning of protoplast research by a variety of the methods, including the followings. First is the by FDA method. FDA stand for fluorescein diacetate. This FDA accumulates within the plasma membrane viable protoplast fluorescein green and white, green or white. So FDA accumulate within the plasma membrane. This will confirm that plasma membrane of a protoplast is intact. It means protoplast is viable. It should be examined within 5 to 15 minutes after FDA treatment, after which FDA dissociate by phenylephrine 0.1%. Phenylephrine detect dead protoplast which turn red in its presence. The viable protoplast remaining unstained even after 2 hours in the staining solution. So phenylephrine will confirm the dead or alive protoplast. Third stain is a CPW called calcofluor white. This is also 0.1%. And this CPW detects onset of the cell wall regeneration around plasma membrane of viable protoplast in the form of a ring of fluorescence. What is the importance of the protoplast culture? Protoplast can be used for different type of studies, like protoplast can be used for the study of the osmotic behavior of the cells. Yes, because cell wall will be degraded and cell membrane will be the outermost membrane, so we can study the osmotic behavior of the protoplast in different plants. It can be studied for the action of indole acetic acid. It can be used for the study of plasmalemma. It can be used for the study of cell wall formation, how cell wall regenerate after degradation. We can study about the organelles isolation through protoplast culture. We can study the morphogenesis in plants. We can study about the virus uptake and replication, study of the photosynthesis, and even gene transfer, which is our more concern. How we can transform our desired gene into a protoplast. So student, this is all about the protoplast culture.